Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Bumper here, back tonight with a new video, and tonight I got a new episode of The 39. So The 39 is a series that I'm doing along with my buddy Trev over at Double Bill Movies, and it's going through the 39 category A video nasties and sort of giving you our feelings on them and how they sort of hold up today to modern standards. Alright, so we're quite some way into it now. It's been a little bit of time since the last video. I got to apologise to Trev, but I've had a nightmare 2 months with some major dental issues and kids being off half term, really busy in work in the NHS with people striking. So yeah, it's just been a really busy time and a painful time as well. I hate the dentist, but anyway, we're back now, so we'll hopefully be able to get through these a bit more quicker. So that's enough waffling then. Tonight's movie is none other than Cannibal Ferox. Okay, so we're on the Cannibal train at the moment. We've done Cannibal Apocalypse. That was really good. It'll be the holy grail of cannibal films next week. Cannibal Holocaust, I say next week, but when it's done. And that'll be on Trev's channel. But tonight we're doing Cannibal Ferox. So there's some poster art there, but I haven't got the movie on physical. I had to get it on streaming. I was going to go out and buy the Shameless release, the one in the yellow case, I think it is. But then Trev said it was cut. And for the sake of this video, I knew I could get a fully uncut stream, so I went that way. Okay, so first of all, then, it's a 1981 Italian zombie film directed by Umberto Lenzi. Okay, so it's about this group of college students, mainly this girl. She wants to lead a couple of them into the rainforest, the Green Inferno, and she wants to dispel the myth of cannibalism. She's adamant that cannibalism doesn't really exist as a not a thing, you know. It might exist in really rare cases, but it's not an exercise like the tribes, you know, they don't like use it to live off or anything like that, you know. So yeah, and then there's a sort of side arc story where they bump into a couple of gangsters in the rainforest and it all goes a bit tits up. So anyway, talking about the movie, sorry about that. So we'll just have a little look at Trev's notes first on the movie. So Trev says, I like the premise of the story, though the cocaine sniffing lead male frustrated me, but that's because I don't like drugs and what they do to people. Okay, so some movies can have a trigger in them. Obviously that's one for Trevor. It doesn't bother me too much, although the guy was pretty damn intolerable. So yeah, so the start of this movie is a bit of a juxtaposition to the rest of the movie. You start off in New York City. It's got a hip jazzy soundtrack. You're following this guy around and he goes to this apartment, and then all of a sudden he's sprung by these two gangsters and they're sort of asking him where his mate is because his mate's done a bunk with all their money. And this guy, he says, you don't know. He just gets murdered on the spot, basically. And then you sort of get this change of scenery then, and it goes to these college students going into the Green Inferno, and the music's like all like really dread-inducing as they're flying over. And yeah, it starts to turn into a bit of a horror movie then. Trevor goes on to say that the story got to a point that I thought I'd be misled, and it wasn't a cannibal film. It definitely is. Okay, yeah, so this is why this movie will appeal to modern audiences and could be ripe for a remake, because it's got a really good slow burn element to it, okay? Apart from the kind of juxtaposition between the scene at the start and then when we get to the Green Inferno, the rest of it, yeah, it's really good. It's really tense, really build up. You get to like the characters as they're trying to find a way to this mythical town where all the locals are a bit dubious about taking them. But yeah. So we'll go on to the video nasty points now. The first question we always ask, did it feel like I was watching a video nasty? So Trev says definitely, and on my new big screen it felt like I was in the cinema. Okay, so yeah, it definitely felt like a video nasty. It had that kind of crusty found footage kind of look to it. It had some animal cruelty in it, which obviously nobody is promoting or enjoying, but it was a staple of these video nasties in the 80s. Okay, so just to chat a little bit about the animal cruelty, I won't get too much into it, but in this movie, you see a small alligator get killed. There's a scene with a pig in a trench type thing, in a trap, and the guy jumps in and stabs it, but you don't see it, so I don't know if there was any animal killed in that scene. And then there's also like a stoaty type, I don't know, not hedgehog, but like a stoaty type squirrel type creature that they carry around with them as protection, and it does get gobbled by a snake. But it is kind of purposely fed to the snake, so, but that's all you're dealing with really. I know it is pretty heavy, but it's nothing like what you see in Cannibal Holocaust. Then the next question, should it be a video nasty? Yes, it's definitely worthy of its status. Okay, yeah, so it should be a video nasty for sure, okay, because when the gruesome stuff comes, it really comes, okay. I don't want to spoil it too much by telling you what happens to each individual character, but there's a scene where a penis is cut off and the tribesman just eats it. This might not gross you out too much if you watch I'm a Celebrity, but there's one scene where a tribesman is eating these massive widgety grubs, and I ate it all the push save. Oh, it's gross. And then there's one amazing scene, which is probably most famous for, where the guy's like in a stock and his head sort of sticking out the top and he's just mopping off with a machete and then he's just picking at his brains, you know, like it's just a bowl of noodles. So, yeah, it is pretty heavy on the gore, so it definitely should get his video nasty status. But what I gotta say is the people who get their comeuppance, they're so insufferable that you can't wait for them to get it. So, pretty good, really. Should modern horror day fans check it out? You guessed it. Yes, definitely. It's one you must tick off your list at least once. So yeah, I totally agree with Trevor. I would never have guessed this film was any good. I was always a little bit put off by the cover art being quite hardcore. The word ferox, I never really knew what it meant. I think it's like a Latin word for just like, I don't know, being angry or something. I did look it up, but I can't really remember. But it was nothing too intense, really. I thought it was some like really heavy meaning word. But yeah, the violence was really good. The gore was on point. The special effects were really good. The dubbing was alright for this kind of movie as well. But yeah. So Trev's going to say he had some technical issues with his disc, so he's skewed his score a little bit. My stream played wicked. I couldn't believe the quality on it. It was absolutely amazing. So yeah, so that was okay. So Trev's given a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10. Now usually Trev's the generous one with these movies, and I'm a little bit tighter with my scores, but I gotta say this movie was amazing. Okay, it had like these most gross out kill scenes in it, like cringe-worthy, wince-inducing gore scenes. It had great character development. You really got on board with the lead girl in it and the guy, you know. And it was just really good. It was really well paced. The acting was fine. The dubbing was okay. The soundtrack was a little bit hit or miss. Like I said, 1 minute it's like funky jazz music, and then it's like this fear-inducing heavy music going on. So all in all, I would probably give this film, I think I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. And I've seen Cannibal Holocaust before. I'm not going to be too quick to judge because I can't remember, but as it stands, I think this movie is better than Cannibal Holocaust. So my final thoughts on it, yeah, so all the technical things I just spoke about then, all really good for the film. There's this character in it, Mike, who's the drug taker that gets on Trev's wick, and yeah, like I said, he really does a good job of winding you up his testament to his acting, really. And yeah, and all the Green Inferno shots and everything, it looks amazing. So over and all, and like I said, 9 out of 10, Cannibal Ferox is one that you definitely got to check out. Catch you on the next episode.